Hey, what up everybody? This is Steve Breach coming to you, talking about the big changes coming to the NXT TAKEOVER in Brooklyn, coming SummerSlam weekend. We had known for a while that the main event of the show was going to be Kevin Owens going up against Finn Balor for the NXT Championship. Of course, this was going to be the rematch for Finn Balor winning the NXT title at the Beast in the East pay-per-view live from Japan. Of course, that happened 4th of July early in the morning if you were here in the United States. And honestly, I think everyone that's a WWE fan saw that show. That was something that everybody really stayed up for. And in my mind, and as well as a lot of other people's minds, this was the main event of that show. You know, Dolph Ziggler and John Cena in that tag match against Barrett and Kane might have gone on last. But honestly, in my mind, if you went to sleep after Kevin Owens versus Finn Balor, you won that night. You didn't miss anything from that tag match. But now they're making the match between Finn Balor and Kevin Owens a ladder match. Honestly, in my mind, I think there's a lot of people out there who might not know a lot about Kevin Owens wrestling in the indies for Ring of Honor as well as PWG. Kevin Owens is a very good ladder match worker. Of course, in Ring of Honor, they call it Ladder Wars. If you go back and you watch the 2007 Man Up show, it's the Briscoe brothers going up against Kevin Steen and El Generico. This is on one of the Briscoe brothers' greatest hits, as well as on one of the Kevin Steen best ofs. I mean, this is one of the best matches in ROH history that really puts it on the map. And then, as well as when Kevin Steen and El Generico broke up years later, when Kevin Steen was wrestling as the champion at Final Battle 2012, El Generico, who really wasn't even with the Ring of Honor at the time, made his return to come back to Ring of Honor and fight at Ladder War 4 at Final Battle 2012 in one of the best matches that I've ever seen. Kevin Steen versus El Generico. Of course, this is Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Was one of the best wrestling rivalries in wrestling history. It might not have been on the grandest stage of them all as in WWE or even in WCW or TNA, but if you go back and you watch the Kevin Owens sets, especially the Descent into Madness, I believe is what it's called. I believe it's I think it's the third. I think they have the one that I don't have. They have the one as the tag team, and then they have the one that's basically the Generico feud. It might be the second, it might be the third. It's all this sort of build up to Kevin Steen and El Generico breaking up as a tag team. Kevin Steen, turning heel. The whole angle of Steen versus Generico. It's some of the best wrestling, and it comes up to Final Battle 2010, where Steen loses to Generico in a loser leaves town match, and this is what led Kevin Steen to be gone for Ring of Honor for, I think it was like 9 or 10 months he was gone. And of course, this plays a lot into the backstage things that was going on with Jim Cornette. And Jim Cornette didn't even want to make the main event of the show be Steen versus Generico. Ended up being that Steen versus Generico at Final Battle ended up being a unsanctioned match, so they could still call, I believe, the Davey Richards match the main event of the night. Just a whole bunch of stuff that spills over into the Kevin Steen shoot interview on the I can't remember what the name of that one is, but it's another ROH best of, and it has an awesome interview with Kevin Steen on there. But Kevin Owens is a damn good ladder match worker. It's going to be a great match, I'm sure. Even if you go and you watch from PWG, I believe it's from Steenwolf, where it's Generico versus Steen, even in the small building in Reseda that I'll be in for Bola 2015. Generico and Steen have a great match, even though the ceiling is like feet off of the ground. I'm sure that if one of them stood in the ring, they could jump up and grab it. They actually put the belt through the air conditioning vent, and when Generico pulls it down to get the wind, the vent comes down out of the ceiling, and I guess we really tore the roof off the place. In my mind, honestly, when it comes down to it, I think that this match is a little bit weird. I know that you need a main event because you're trying to make this seem like it's a major event. that's going to be held in the Barclays Center, the same place that's going to hold SummerSlam the next night. And you don't want it to be empty. You don't want to have it be where NXT doesn't live up to what the show was at WrestleMania or what the show was when they were in Cleveland. You want to have fans there, and you don't want it to you don't want it to look indie as well. I mean, Triple H has really made it to where NXT is a secondary brand, even if it's looked at as sort of like the minor leagues. For the people who watch it, we love it. And for the people who don't watch it, I don't know why you're not watching it. I mean, it's a 1 hour show. When you do the specials, that's 2 hours. But, I mean, this is some of the best wrestling that's on every week, and it's only an hour. You don't have to worry about Raw. You don't have to worry about SmackDown. A lot of these people are debuting, and I'm sure there's a lot of buzz about all these guys, whether if it's Neville having great matches against Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens having great matches against John Cena. You've got the whole Divas Revolution going on with Charlotte, Sasha Banks, and Becky Lynch coming up and joining into the Divas division and really turning that around. So I don't know, man. I have told myself the last few times I've watched this special that these would be meaning even more to me if I watched NXT regularly on Wednesday nights. And honestly, I haven't been keeping up with it as much as I should be. And now that I'm realizing it's Wednesday as I'm making this video right now, I probably need to turn NXT on tonight. So, in my mind, Finn Balor is still going to win this match. I think that it's going to make it, honestly, a little bit more exciting. I'm, liking the fact that you have a number one contenders match next week on NXT, which is going to be Bayley versus Becky Lynch. The winner of that match is going to get a chance to go after Sasha Banks' NXT championship. I'm sure that that's going to be Bayley getting the win there in my mind. But honestly, if they did do Becky Lynch versus Sasha Banks the night before SummerSlam, that sort of feeds into what's going on Monday Night Raw as well. But Bayley has been tweeting a lot about her steps to regaining credibility in the Divas or women's division. They don't call it Divas division in NXT, but she hasn't really been there. I know she did get injured, but she got built up. She was the number one contender to win up against Charlotte. Charlotte crushed her. This was probably about a year ago, and has never really been the same since then. Also at TakeOver is going to be the Vaudevillains going up against Blake and Murphy. I don't know what happened to Enzo and Kaz. When you watch the show for months, they were built up as big stars. They sort of were like the number one contenders. Out of the middle of nowhere, they lost one match, and now they're nowhere in the tag team division. The Vaudevillains, who seemed like they were breaking up a month ago, are now the number one contenders. It doesn't seem like they got injured. I don't know what happened to make them cool those guys off so much. It seemed like they were one of the most over acts in NXT, even though I don't really get it. But we'll have to see what goes down. Kevin Owens going up against Finn Balor, NXT title ladder match. It's going to be different. It's going to be fun. Of course, at the first NXT special, it was Adrian Neville beating Bo Dallas for the NXT championship. That was a ladder match. That was a ton of fun. And for people that were watching NXT for the first time, it definitely put Neville on the map for a lot of people. And, him wrestling in these great matches against Seth Rollins. I believe this is the second time. They might have snuck in a SmackDown match that I hadn't seen. But the second time that they've had a great match on Monday Night Raw that really surprised a lot of people.